Well, hey people, I know it's getting time for another flat top. Well, if you want to pay for Watachi's haircut, it's $20. Send that to Watachi1, WATACHEE with the number one behind it at PayPal, and I'll go get that haircut tomorrow. Uh, People, tonight I'm doing two videos, but I got to keep some other channels going too. So one of these videos is going to be on Watachi Running Free 2. The other video is going to be on Fakawi four wheelers. So if you want to hear both videos, you're going to have to go to both channels. But I got to keep these other channels up and kind of moving too, because you never know when they're going to take one of mine permanently down. And it doesn't matter anyway. But anyway, this video, I don't even know where to start with it. Now, I know there's people that live in places like Arizona and Florida and California and shit that they don't have snow and ice on the roads. I know there's places that where you do have that shit on the road. Now in Arizona, there's one. It's a problem out there that is just as bad as a whiteout condition, snowstorm, ice storm, or fog, sleet storm, whatever you want to call it, folks. We've been having these things forever, since I've been alive. This shit's been happening since I've been alive. I can verify that. 60 years, all this shit's been happening. Now in Arizona, I'm living in Arizona. No chance of some big old pile up going to happen on an interstate because of whiteout conditions. You can't see, you can't fucking. There's no chance in the desert of something like that happening. Oh no. What you got to worry about out there is a sandstorm. And believe me, folks, I've seen them happen many a times, and I'm telling you what, when that wind kicks up and it causes a sandstorm, I was sitting on one side of Phoenix, Arizona, I was sitting on, let's see, the west side of Phoenix, looking out towards where I live. I lived on the east side. I lived in Mesa. I looked out that way and saw this sandstorm coming in, and it was a wall of sand that you could not see past, coming in on an area that was sun shining, not a cloud in the damn sky. You could see for miles. That wall hit, and it's like just as bad as a. It's worse than like a hurricane or anything, folks, because it's not that you can't see. If you open your eyes, you still can't see because it is sand that's flying around. So if you're locked, you're in a car driving down the road, usually with the air conditioner on when this happens. You can see that you're driving up to the wall of sand that you can clearly see. It's blocking this complete sky and everything out from everything behind it out. You can't see it. These people will drive straight into it at 70 and 80 mile an hour, and then wonder why there's 100 car semis and everything pile up right in the middle of it. Because all it takes is that first person to panic after they've went into this sandstorm and can't see nothing. and they stop right in the middle of the interstate. Don't get off of the interstate. They stop right in the middle of the fucking interstate. And people start plowing into them. Because just as many more ignorant morons behind them saw that wall coming and didn't even slow down or stop. They just kept driving like it was going to be a Sunday picnic. They piled them up so deep out there on I-10 in Arizona from one of those sandstorms. Hundreds of vehicles involved, semis on top of cars and shit. The roads weren't even slick, folks. They weren't even slick. This was sand and it was desert. There was nothing slick on the roads. They piled them up 100 and some deep. Now we're going to talk about snow and ice conditions. Shit. I have driven all across this country. I've driven through some of the worst mountain ranges with snowstorms and ice on them and shit. I'll tell you what, after I had my heart surgeries, 2 of them out of the 3, I couldn't go back to construction, so I started driving a semi. I paid a company to train me how to where I could drive anything. I had all the endorsements, everything. And so after I got through with the school, I had to go out with a trucking company. Well, the trucking company I ended up with was Central Refrigerated, and we were hauling everything that needed to be refrigerated, meat usually and shit. We're going through what I can't remember the pass, but it was a bad pass, so I'll call it Donner's Pass, if you guys know anything about Donner's Pass. We've been fighting this snow and shit. It was middle of the winter, coming across the northern part of the country. We've been fighting the snow. I got some sleep. I was the trainee. The trainer had been driving while I actually got some sleep. It was time for him to get some sleep. Been bad roads, icy as snow. That's stressful driving, folks. He got it. He had to stop driving. He was running out of time. And it was time for me to drive. We were driving team. So when one guy sleeps, the other guy drives, keeps the truck moving. It was my turn to drive, and we're going through Donner's Pass in the Rocky Mountains. Now, I've been up about 30 minutes before I had to get in behind that wheel, and I'm checking shit, weather reports. And this mountain range we're getting ready to go over has got ice and snow forecasted. But no chains have been ordered yet, so my trainer said, "Hey, it's your turn to drive. Let's go. I'm sweating. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep." All right. So we swapped positions, got everything logged in and everything. And I tell him, he's getting back in the bed already. We had a big double bunk walk-in sleeper. He's getting back there. He's getting ready for bed. And I look at him and I say, "Hey, come here." He goes, "All right." He come up. I said, "Listen to me. Best thing you can do is plant your ass in that passenger seat over there till I get through this fucking mountain range. I've never driven semi loaded down through a mountain range on icy, snowy roads. You're the trainer. I'm the trainee. The best thing for you to do is be up here with me. Make sure everything I'm doing's all right. I've never done this before." He goes, "I've been riding with you. You're fine. I'm going to bed." I said, all right. Before I started the truck, I said one more thing to him. I said, let me tell you something. While you're laying back there in that bunk, if you start feeling a cold breeze coming through the truck and it's still moving, you can guarantee I done opened the door and bailed the fuck out. I'm not riding this truck and this trailer to the bottom of a 7,000, 10,000, 12,000 foot drop. I'm jumping the fuck out. So if you start feeling cold air, I suggest you get your ass out of that bunk, get the fuck out of this truck as well, if you got time. He said, what? I said, you fucking heard me, and I fired the truck up. Needless to say, he was sitting in the passenger seat when I went through that mountain range. Now, this mountain range, folks, he told me about it before we got there. There were still semis. I don't think the people were still in them. But there's still semis sitting at the bottom of that fucking pass that didn't make it over the mountain. And they had to go down to the bottom. They can't get the trucks out of there. They're too damn heavy. But they had to get the people out. And none of them lived. I would have jumped out of that motherfucker the second I didn't feel like I was in control. He'd have had a cold breeze blowing up his ass, waking him up if he wasn't sitting in that front passenger seat. Now, let me tell you, folks, I have driven across this country in many icy and snowy conditions and have, in a car, had not many problems. But on ice, black ice, folks, I had a semi sliding. I was running 70 plus mile an hour when I hit the hill, and the entire hill was black ice. And I slid down. I hit my brakes and started going faster. On top of it, when I hit my brakes, I started moving faster. The damn trailer was trying to pass me. I could not hit my brakes. Went down this fucking mountain, this fucking hill on black ice, a semi in front of me. He was doing about 20. I was at 70 plus. He was in the middle of the two lanes on the side of the interstate I was on, and he wasn't moving. I had to make a decision in about a half a mile to either drive my semi right off into the ditch and take my chances, or smack him in the ass and take us both off the fucking road. Seeing how he was sitting right in the middle of both lanes, I could have passed him if he'd just get the fuck out of one of the two lanes. And he wasn't moving. I'm coming down through there. I'm flashing my high beams off and on. I'm laying on my air on. Motherfucker ain't moving out of it. He's staying right in the center of both lanes. So I decided, well, fuck him. If he's going to put me off in the ditch, I'm going to take him with me. I'm going to plow him right in the fucking ass in and knock him off the road as well. I don't know how many seconds before I got up on top of his ass, he went over into one lane and gave me a lane to pass him in. And I flew past him at 70-something plus miles an hour, and he was doing 30. On black ice. The whole mountain was fucking black ice. I wouldn't have been running that way if I'd known the black ice was on that mountain, folks. That shit happens. It's called black ice for a reason. Now, This accident on I-81, a snow and fog pile up, sleet, turns shit to ice and slick as hell in a second. Dozens of people involved. At least 3 died from the information I've been heard about today. Many hospitalized. 50 vehicles wrecked or destroyed. 60 people being helped by, I guess it's a county or something, Goodwill or whatever. 60 people of them being helped right now that were involved in it. It's not a freak of nature, folks. It's nature. Shit's been happening since before you were born. If you wasn't running late to work or whatever and you could slow down, you wouldn't have been involved in it. If you had a lick of sense and saw as soon as you realized I can't fucking see shit, you wouldn't have kept going. I'm going to name some conditions, folks, that I've described a couple. Black ice, sandstorms, whiteout conditions, tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, ice storms, blizzards. These things have been happening since you've been alive. Guarantee it. Why haven't you learned that you drive to the conditions of the weather? You don't drive because you're in a fucking hurry going somewhere because you got up late because you was hungover from your partying last night. Now you're running late. Now you're blowing through stoplights and stop signs and making turns, and you run up on ice fog, sleet that's been sitting in a valley somewhere since last night. Everything's iced. You know, run up on that shit at 50 mile an hour, 40 mile, 30 mile an hour. You can't stop. You saw the videos on this shit. Every one of them people were morons. First thing they should have fucking done the minute they got scared, and they don't, they keep driving. Oh, everything will be all right. First thing they should have done when they got scared was stop. Stop your fucking vehicle before it's too late. Before it's too late. Once you're in the pile up and people keep piling in and piling in and piling in till it gets so deep the impact isn't bothering your car anymore, you could be killed. You pull off side of the road, folks, as far as you can fucking pull. Get the hell off the side of the road so that you're out of the way of the morons that are behind you thinking they can plow through it. Okay? Then you turn on only your flashers. You turn your fucking headlights and your running lights the fuck off. Turn on only your flashers, yellow flashing. If somebody can't see you until they're 10 feet in front of you or behind you, and they see yellow flashing lights, they're not going to think, well, he's all right. He's in the road. If they see your running lights, your headlights, they're not going to think you're stopped, folks. Get the hell off the road as far as you can. I don't care if you got to drive into the grass in a sandstorm. As far as getting off the side of the road of a ice storm or a blizzard or something, you can only get off as far as you can get off that your car can go. As far as this collision on this day, it was just everything was icy. You could have got your ass. You could have stopped long before it was too late. And when you stop, turn your flashers on, take your foot off the brake pedal so that nobody sees your brake lights and thinks you're still in the road. You just slow down, put your flashers on, and don't fly up behind you thinking they can't see the road, so they think you're in the road. Turn your flashers on, take your foot off the brake pedal. Turn your headlights off and your running lights off. If you can, get the fuck out of your car and get as far away from the damn road as you can if you don't want to be hurt. If it's cold and freezing and shit, you can't do that. You just try to get your car off as far as you can. If you can get out and get away, I would get the fuck out and get away from the vehicle. Okay, the last two things. If it's possible, get as far away from your car as you can, and then call for some fucking help, because you're not only going to be the only one that needs it. There's going to be many other people behind you when shit like this happens. So just call and get help for everybody. Get yourself help, and get police and shit coming that way, because there's going to be a problem that they're going to need them anyway. This can keep you from being in one of these situations, folks, whether it's sand, snow, ice, whatever. But shit happens, folks. It has been since you've been alive. That's why they call them accidents. But you don't have to be a moron and drive right into the fucking middle of it. Your job ain't that important. Or wherever you were fucking heading when you run into this shit ain't that important. God loves you, folks. So do I. That's why I'm telling you this. I am a professional driver. I've never been involved in none of this shit. Millions of miles across this country, back and forth. Never. I've driven through the damn blizzards, ice storms, sleet, hail. I've driven through it all. Thunderstorms like you wouldn't believe. Tornadoes and shit happening. I've driven through it all. Never been involved in this shit. Nothing like it. It ain't because I'm special. It's because I know to stop before it gets too stupid that you can't get out of it. Like I said, folks, I love you. God loves you more. I just do this to help you. You guys have a good night. See you the next time.